Here before me lies a guitar that I've been working on. I've been painstakingly removing this neck. But did I have to? Let's find out. I want to stabilize this block where it's separated from the back. You can see if I put this screwdriver in there, get some separation right there. I'm going to put a wedge just to separate that a little bit. So I'm going to take some warm water and wick it in there in hopes that when I add glue in here, it's going to pull it in with it. So using this wedge to create some separation there, get that glue to go inside. And just with a little water, thin it down a little bit. Get that glue inside there between the block and the back. So I can clamp this and hopefully get it to stay. I'm also going to put some glue in from this side. Let's try to push the glue in with this brush. Gonna thin down the glue a little bit. There's naturally some separation right here. It's never going to clamp down because of the arched back. But if I can get this to move close to the front of the block, and that'll hold it. Now I see some glue squeeze out here. I got a couple of calls. Okay, I'm going to leave this clamped, and that should do it. So now that I got that block stabilized, I think I may have got lucky with something. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So now I've got the guitar put back together with just some clamps. And when I put a straight edge on the frets, you can see where it ends up, slightly over the bridge, which is great. Saves me from having to change that neck angle. And don't ask me how that happened. I don't know if I just stabilizing the block, putting it right in the right spot, or maybe the joint being all gunked up with glue and the screw being loose caused it to put undue space between the heel and the body. But I got a nice tight fit, and I can see I got a good neck angle. So I'm gonna run with that. Also, the angle this way is good. I check it with a string and everything lines up with the bridge. I'm not going to reattach this the same way it was reattached. I'm going to put an insert in the heel, a steel insert, and then I'm going to put a bolt on the inside and attach it that way. So that's going to save me a heck of a lot of time fitting this joint, because right now it is a little bit loose in the pocket, and so I don't have to go through that trouble. I went ahead and ordered some inserts. They should be here in a day or two. In the meantime, I'm going to do a little finish work on this heel because it got damaged when I removed it. There was a lot of chipping on the neck when I received the guitar, so I'm going to go ahead and see if I can take care of that. Let's jump right in. Okay, you can see the areas that I need to touch up, and this is a very thick poly finish. I'm going to start off by just blending the edges and scuffing it up. So now that I've got it sanded down, I'm going to go ahead and take some, these are just acrylic artist paints. I'm taking black and a little bit of purple. I'm going to just go in, get some color. It's okay if you overlap the existing paint a little bit. Let's put a nice even opaque coat, because this is not transparent finish at all. This is very opaque. Stain will not work on this. So now let that dry and speed up the process with a little heat. I can see that the original finish does have a little bit of lifting, so it might be a good idea to add a little bit of super glue around this seam. But let me just show you. I'm just going to wipe this with a little naphtha. You can see what it's going to look like. So that's going to blend pretty well color-wise. I'm going to wick a little super glue under some of these loose areas. I can see it's already chipping up, and try to stabilize all around the edge. And then I'll do my other ones because I got a lot to do. So I'm going to go ahead and stabilize these with super glue first, and then I'm going to do the same paint technique, and then I'll bring you back. I'll show you that. Actually, maybe I'll play a little music while I do this, while you can watch. Okay, now I have all the chipped areas painted and I'm ready to start applying finish. So I'm going to go with this polyurethane gloss. And the idea is to apply multiple thin coats, sanding in between with 320 or 400 grit until it builds up enough to be level, perfectly level with the existing finish. And then you sand it back, going up in the grits, starting at 320, going to 400, 600, 800, 1000, 1200, and so forth until you get it up to a stage where you can buff it out. Well, it's coming out pretty good, but it's not quite there yet. I can still see some ghosting where I kind of sanded through. And so I'm going to have to put a little more paint, touch that up, and then add a little more poly, a few more coats, and you can see it's pretty smooth. Almost can't feel the steps anymore. But man, I put about 49 coats of poly on here. That was so thick. It's getting there. But I think that's going to be about it for this week. I did get my inserts in, so next week I'll be finishing up this. I also have a little bit of finish work to do on the binding. It's got a little gap here in the heel area, so I'm going to do a little finish work on that, and then I'm going to install the insert and bolt the neck back in place. So join me next week where definitely we'll put this guitar back together. I apologize for running out of time this week, but I kind of got wrapped up in this finish work, so I want this to look a little bit better than it does right now. Thanks for watching.